Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? One second. There we go. Hello. Hi, everybody. Just a forewarning right now. Currently, literally right outside my window is a jackhammer and like a big bucket lift and everything. And while it is like 6 o'clock where I am right now, they are still at it, which is lovely. So if you hear any noise in the background, I apologize. They're quite loud. Right now they're not going, but I kind of started the stream right in between them doing things. But yeah, it is a little less than ideal. But what are you gonna do? How are we all doing today? Is it the start of your day for you? Is it the end of your day for you? For me, this is the end of my day. I was in the lab all day. You might have saw me earlier, though, on Today in Global Hack Week. Hello. 6 p.m. here. Wow, me too. It's 11 p.m. over here. Nice. Well, hopefully this is a nice, chill, cozy stream. It's been quite a bit since I've done a stream for MLH, and so I kind of wanted to do something kind of relaxing, fun. So we're going to be building a game because it's kind of low stakes, gets to play around with new technologies and build out something cool. The game in particular that we're going to be rebuilding is one that I particularly like, and when we were talking about data or a cloud and different ways to do things, I thought it was a really good fit for this. And that's Infinite Craft. How many of you in chat have actually know what that is or have played it before? Anybody? Well, I will show y'all in a moment. Okay. So if you remember those kind of old, maybe this might date me a little bit, but those old alchemy games where you start with water and then fire and you add them together. You get steam. You can put that together. You get mud. The idea behind this game is that you can continue to put stuff together and build out really neat things. So let's say wall earth makes a fence. And this game in particular, made by Neil.fun, does something really cool where if the two items that you're combining have never been combined by anybody else before, it will actually go ask a generative AI model, hey, what do you think the output of this plus this is? And generate that output. And I thought that was a really neat way of using generative AI and wanted to use that in this context here. I wanted to kind of just basically rebuild this and then maybe we just put our own spin on it and have fun with it to make it something new. I'm just gonna change some vibes here. I've got a couple royalty-free audio chats. This one's called Feeding the Ducks, and so I'm gonna do Feeding the Ducks. But yeah. And let's do that. Yeah. It's been a bit since I've done this. But first thing I wanted to do, just because I think it'd be fun, would be to make hackathon in this game. And so I'm gonna try my best here to build out hackathon. I literally just fed my... You have ducks? Are you kidding? That's awesome. Do they have names? Can I ask that? I would love to know the names of your ducks. And while I do that, I'm gonna think about how I want to build. How do we get to hackathon? Earth barbecue, that's fire. Steam, water, cloud, no. Mama Duck, Desi, Lucy, Little Duck, not a real name, and Dusty. Those are incredible names. I love them. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, five ducks. That is a, what is the term? A gaggle of ducks? Is that the proper term for multiple ducks? I believe that is. Volcano, cloud, rain, mud. You know what? We will try this another. Yep. They keep the tick population down. That's fair. Honestly, I love a good animal that's able to pay their rent, so to speak. Nah. So I wanted to start the stream off. Let me grab this here. Let's move that there. So we have our little game here, and we'll keep playing it for a bit. But I wanted to come up with basically a list of ideas on what we want our version of this to do. Like, what are like the key. I'm gonna zoom in a bunch here. Key points for our version of craft. All right, we're gonna make a little checklist here now. Yippee. So it starts off with like 4 base elements. So we're gonna say starting with 4 base elements. And maybe we make those like hackathon related or like coding related or something like that. We can say has a cool theme to it. Maybe coding related. And maybe it's, you know, that's the spin on it. This is like for like everything in all of Infinite. But then we make like one more specific for like Global Hack Week and one for like, you know, developers and that sort of stuff. Because I feel like there's a wide range of like coding terms, and we can kind of see, you know, if you combine Python with Java, what do you get? And it's like, oh, it's JavaScript. Something like that. What is our 4 base elements at that point? Maybe like basic C types. Okay, we'll get back to that. It's got to be able to combine 2 things. Combine two things into one new thing. One of the things that Infinite Craft does to kind of make it so that way it's snappy, if this was like an API call every single time, it would take forever. So they have some sort of like back-end caching system, so that way if 2 things have already been combined before, it's able to understand what that is. Bread. Combine or cache pre-combined items for faster fetching. And then of course there's the fun part of it. Use Gen AI for building unknown combinations. Kind of thing. Anybody else have any other ideas of how we can kind of, or like core concepts that we need here? I think it really is just like take 2 items, put them together. Today we're going to be primarily focused on like the back end of things. So we're going to mostly just be building out like the API endpoints for combining 2 things. And then we'll worry about making a pretty UI and that sort of stuff later. But we can write those plans down. Steps and plans. I like these streams to be kind of more structured than us playing around with things. Build out a back end that's capable of caching. combos and calling GenAI for new combos. You ask what language I will be using. Fantastic question. I will primarily be using Python just because I am primarily a Python developer. My day job, I am an academic, and so I mostly write terrible Python code. So I am not a full-time software engineer, although I do a lot of software engineering things. But I find that Python, at least for me, is fast for prototyping, and I can do that a little bit faster in the workshop setting. But yes, good question. Speaking of that, maybe I'll make like a sub point here. Use fast API to quickly make the API. To fastly make the API. Let's see, is this? No, that's not what I wanted to see. Oh, that's not how Markdown works. I'm a fool. I wanted checkboxes. It's also been a bit since I've done any sort of Markdown checkboxes. Excuse me. It's been a little bit. I did have it right. Why didn't it render it? That's rude. Apologies again if you can hear them with their bucket lift outside my window, because they are certainly out there doing that, which is lovely. I don't know why my checkboxes are not checking. Well, I prefer the plain text version of it as well. For GenAI, take the different. So for the generative AI stuff, we're going to do actually two different approaches. We're going to use Google Gemini, and then we're going to use DigitalOcean's gradient AI agents. And I kind of wanted to show these two as like two different ways that you could go about something like this, and show like the pros and cons of doing each one depending on that. And so we're going to build out both just because may as well. And so that means that our API endpoints API and endpoints takes different can specify a not model engine I guess provider. And then we can talk a little bit about the front end here, or let's talk about caching real quick. Use, and we'll decide what database. Some sort of database structure for, it's gonna bother me. Structure for caching pre-calculated results. And really that'll all just be so that we can do some sort of key value pair and be like, oh, we already cached that, so let's get that, and not have to just spam our API endpoint with a bunch of stuff. And then we're gonna say build out a nice snappy front end that lets you drag elements together. So we need to identify, and this is where my inability to be a front-end dev comes in. Identify libraries to move around objects. Build out link connection of two objects to a post request. Yeah, something like that. And then finally, we may as well, because we're going to be using DigitalOcean, host it on DigitalOcean so that all y'all can play it. So yeah, host the actual thing on DigitalOcean, so that way y'all watching along at home can play it and we can have fun with it. I don't know if you can hear the child screaming behind me, but that's lovely too. I just moved into a new apartment out here, so it is a little louder than I'm used to. But apologies for that. Okay. Bread fence. Bread plus fence is a sandwich. You know, I think we're gonna build stuff out with this, and while we're doing that, I'm gonna just have this over in the side here, and if y'all in chat want to call out ideas of things to combine to make what is ceramic sandwich? A plate. Fascinating. To eventually get to hackathons, that'll be the goal for the stream. I will, as we slowly move around, play with things. Bread dish. So that's a sandwich still. We gotta get to somehow like tech or something. Actually curious. Why don't we go to like inspect element here and see if there like are network calls that get made. Whoa. Why is it upset with me? Hello? Oh, it's because I'm like... 1 second. I know what's going on. It thinks I'm in like mobile mode, right? Nope. I don't know why. Brick. It does not like me having that open while I do that. I mostly want to see if in the network tab it shows these API calls that it's making. Event. What are my controls? Why is it controls? Why does it think I'm like right-clicking things? That's strange. Here, let's move this over here so that way we can actually get like a better view. And let's also dock this on the bottom. All right, let's take a look. Tile plus tile, floor. Yep. And you can see there, right there. Neil.fun API infinite craft pair. First equals tile, second equals tile. So now I'm just kind of curious if we can just take that. Boom. We now have access to the API. And so we can kind of see they have a result, floor, the emoji that's associated with it. And for some reason, floor is a water emoji or a wave emoji. That's weird. And is new is false. So this tells you whether or not the item that was just crafted is something new. So I can even like, I'm just curious, like just write random letters there. Test. Well, didn't really like that one. I'm gonna guess there's some sort of like context it needs. Yeah. No, it definitely needs like some sort of context, so I can't just like tile 2. You're pressing the website. Yeah, doesn't fully like that. Which somebody got dragon. Incredible. As in ocean floor. Possibly. But, like, I got floor by, like, combining tile plus tile. So, like, maybe if I do water floor. Puddle. Alright. Well, we'll keep this going on the side while we start actually coding out some stuff here. I'll keep this here. Yeah. There we go. It truly does not like being in this, like, horizontal mode. Oh, no, okay, I got it fixing. I just have to refresh the page. Cool. So now we can have this on the side as we, as we code up stuff. Puddle plus puddle is a pond. Pond plus mountain is a lake. Ooh. Okay. So, starting with the 4 basic elements, I think it'd be kind of fun if, like, our starting game was just like just the integer types for things. So, or not integer types, like basic C types, data types in C. So, yeah. Instead of 4, it's gonna be 6, and we're gonna go int float double char bool void. Okay, cool. So now we can go from there and see what that creates us when we build this thing out. But the very, very, very first thing that we need to do is actually build out this code here. So I am going to have Copilot build this out for me, but I'm going to explain what it's doing along the way, so that way we can actually learn from this, and we're not just kind of spitting out the code and having it do stuff. So, actually, this is actually perfect, because while it's doing stuff, I can kind of sit here and be like, what is lakeless brick house? Builds out a simple Python fast API implement that uses Gemini to create a combine endpoint. The endpoint will be a... Actually, instead of a post request, it looks like they are just using GET requests for these things, which is kind of smart, because, I mean, kind of. It'll be a GET request that takes into parameters. We're gonna call those A and B, and let's call it, what do they call it over here? First and second. Okay. First and second. That takes in. All right, we'll just start there. For now, let's just echo back the request. Alrighty. So, we're gonna be using Fast API. I've actually never used Fast API before. I primarily do stuff in Flask, but I've heard good things about building up simple APIs. I would love it if it was a virtual environment. Absolutely. Sure. It looks like it is building out things. We're gonna zoom. I'm just gonna go like this real quick. Okay, now we can actually see what it's doing. All right. So, Fast API seems to be very, very simple and fast. It looks like we literally just import Fast API. We call it the Infinite Craft API. I'm gonna call it Technicraft, just because it's gonna be like coding related and stuff like that. Again, apologies for that jackhammer. Can you hear the jackhammer, or am I just like apologizing for something that's getting filtered out anyway? I'm curious. It's not that loud. Oh, that's good. It's very loud on my end, which is rather frustrating, if you ask me. Okay, cool. Well, that's awesome, and I'm glad that it's not, like, blaringly loud and in our face. Oh yeah, let's actually run this thing. Let me swap these back. Whoop. All right, I'm gonna open up this. So Fast API, if you haven't used it before, it's a really simple library that helps you just spin up API requests. Basically, you write an asynchronous function, so something like this, which is just a function in Python that's called combine. It takes in 2 parameters, and these are going to be the parameters that appear in your URL. And then you just get this nice little decorator, and you say, here's my URI that I'd like to be using, app.get. We're going to combine 2 things, and then it's going to combine that here. And we're just going to return that there. We have our virtual environment sourced, which I love. So now we're just going to do python main.py. No, we didn't actually start it. I'm pretty sure it's apps.start. Maybe app.run. Can you finish this off to start the app? Actually, I need to read. What did it say? Turn the server. Oh. It's using UV icon. I have not used that before. Yeah. Yeah, I much prefer if it's just me run. Okay, cool. And now we can go make some of those GET requests to here. So localhost, it's running on 8000. Now we can combine first and second. And yep, we hit that endpoint. And I'm gonna actually put a little print statement. Boom. Oh, and it even reloads. That's convenient. Hey, nice. There's probably a way to actually implement this. Skip that. Thank you. So you see here how these are all nicely formatted: info, warning. I'd like to see if I can replace the print statement I have on line 9 with a log fitting the unicorn setup. Yep. We'll see if I can do that. It's logger, not info. Got it. Ah, interesting. Okay. So it looks like logger, you attach that to the UV icon, and yeah. Cool, let's see if that then cleans. Oh, what did I do? And then when we hit it, info. Cool. Can I do that instead? Oh, doesn't like that. Alright, cool. I'm actually now just curious. UV icon loggers, and see if there's a log level. This is the most pedantic thing that I could possibly be doing, but I'm just kind of curious at this point. It's not worth it. Whatever. Okay, so we're able to get 2 items here, and now we can actually combine them. So I'm gonna go grab my Gemini stuff here. So can you write some bare bones code to add the Gemini integration into the system? So we're gonna use Gemini first just because it's really fast to get started with everything, but as we're gonna see, it might not be the most optimal way of doing this. And because of that, we'll then pivot to the title of this to look at what DigitalOcean's Gradient AI has to offer. Let's take a look here and see what's changed. So it's imported the generative AI model. It's found my Gemini API key, which is over in my environment file. No, I will not be opening that file. You don't have to. You don't get the rights to look at that fancy file. I just don't want you stealing my API key. You're to take that. Only respond with the name of the two elements, and that's it. So we're giving it a structure here where we tell it to do two things. We then have our prompt. We generate our context here. We then get a response, strip it down to the result, and then return that result. It doesn't have my Gemini API key. Oh no. Now I do need to go find this. Actually, it's going to be import.env. We're going to do that. Boom. Now it's... Has it found my Gemini API key? Here, I'm going to kill it and restart it. Only the root. Oh. Well, yeah. Okay. It's google.genai now. Shame. We also need to update that package. Here. That'll probably be fine. Update my Google. You know, I'm actually curious. So right now I'm using a Copilot here, which, that's opening up over there. Let's not do that. Which is using specifically the auto functionality with my student developer pack, which, pro tip, if you don't have the student developer pack, I would highly recommend hopping on that and getting it. But I'm imagining it doesn't have the most up-to-date version of this, so a little thing that I typically like doing, and I need to here, I'll pull up this. Oh gosh, sorry for the flashies. We're gonna do that. We're gonna actually, no, we're gonna do this instead. I'm going to go to ai.dev, Google AI Studio, documentation here, and figure out what the actual package is that I need to install. It's that. Cool. Okay, from Google import Gen AI. And then what is it? What is like the actual Python library called? So that way I can import it. Library Google-Gen AI. Cool. Thank you. -Gen AI from Google. Yeah. Cool. Now we need to reinstall our pip install -r requirements.txt. Yippee! Ugh. Everything's changed. Oh no. It's fine. We'll do things by actually coding, which is a good thing. Kind equals that. I don't think I need to pass it that. But I do think I need to specify the model. Yep. Oh, I do that with clients.models, generate content. Okay, cool. Generate content, command prompt that, and then I need to specify what model. I'm actually going to just use 2.5 Flash. It doesn't need to be something fancy. It just needs to work. So we're not going to do anything sort of fancy here. Let me clean this up so it looks a little prettier. And I'm also going to... Do I need to provide my API key? Well, we're about to find out. Context equal, or contents. Alrighty, let's take a look. Is it gonna work first try? No, because I didn't delete something. There we go. Hey! Load it up. Let's drag this window back on over here so we can test with it. Yippee. So it did hit combining int with float, response text strip, float, which is not a super helpful thing. So we're now just going to, I'm gonna do this, because that doesn't need to be all that big. Given the two elements, combines them. Do your best to create a new element that is instead of providing the same element as one of the endpoints. Where's my text wrapping? Why am I not text wrapping? View word wrap. Thank you. Elements as one of the endpoints. Creates a new one that's a combination of the two. Let's see if that helps. So right now we're combining int and float, and that makes a double. Cool. And the theme of the game is, it's not medieval fantasy, is technology and programming, and all elements related to that. So now we can even say, let's say what's the combination between Python and Java. Bytecode. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but now I'm curious. Python versus... The combination should be a logical combination of the two elements. Alrighty. Let's see. Python or Java plus... I don't know. It's another fun one. Also, wait, I have a pretty print. Why am I doing this? Yeah, let's zoom that in. We don't have to live in this stone age. Like Rust. JVM. So, one of the things that we do here is we, at the very end, we limit it, only respond with the name of the new elements, nothing else. I think if somebody was like adversarial here, they could probably do something more like, I don't know, respond, or like play around with it and make it respond with something that isn't an element and kind of break the whole thing, because we're basically stripping the text and just putting it right here. And there are ways around that to make it so that way the response needs to be a specific way. And so why don't we head back on over to, I'm just gonna make new tabs here. Tab management's weird when you're like, again, it's been a while since I've streamed. So I'm gonna go back over to AI.dev, documentation, libraries, Python. Alrighty. Whoop. No longer maintained. There's something specific I want. Structured outputs. There we go. Cool. So the Python library and the Gemini library for Python is actually really fun. And you can specify structured outputs, which is really nice. So, for example here, we can specify that we would like our responses to be something like this, where we import Pydantic's base model. It's really built off Pydantic, which, if you're not familiar with, is a library for kind of structuring types. Python's very unstructured, and so you can create structured types using it. And so, class, combine request, blip the bloop. Actually, I don't want that. I don't want that. Combine results. And we want results string equal field for a combination of finding two elements, emoji, string and emoji representing the result. So we would like a result here, and so you can notice here in the example that they give you, they don't actually say specify, you must give me a recipe name, prep time, ingredients, instructions. They just give it this prompt here, which explains, you know, please extract the recipe from the following text, and passes on recipe.model JSON model schema in the response JSON schema. And so this will configure it so that way it will make it a JSON, and you don't have to like say, hope and pray, please give me a JSON back, and then your whole system breaks because Gemini decided, I want to say, ooh, that's a really good idea. So the combination of that would be this, and then breaks all of your text outputs, which is kind of funny, but not necessarily what you'd like. So I'm going to do this. Alrighty. I'm gonna delete all those bits there, as well as an emoji that represents the result. Cool. So then we're gonna go over here to our actual call. We're gonna say that our response bind type will be application JSON, which says, hey, we would like a JSON back, which will make our life a lot easier. And then I'm gonna say combine results, model JSON schema. Let me make that all pretty. Oh, it's gonna break. No. Did I forget a comma? You bet I did, buddy. And now, if I do this, ooh, okay. Result equals. Yep. Okay. So this should just give us the result, and we don't have this, which should be fine. Let's see, does it fix it? Yeah. First, second, results, and we're gonna change that to item, result combining the two elements, and emoji. So now, I feel like we're gonna get gear for a lot of them, just because like gear makes sense in this regard. But yeah, you get a nice little structured output. You don't need to like parse the JSON yourself. It makes your life a lot easier. Okay. Where'd that window go? Oh, it's right here. I'm just blind. And now to take a little break of doing this. Phoenix barbecue, Firebird water, Phoenix. All right. Okay, so result item. That looks good to me. Alright, so where are we on the checklist here? This won't matter until we have our actual UI, because we'll give these as like the initial starting terms. Has a cool theme to it, maybe coding related. Yeah, we have a cool theme to it. Combine two things into one thing. Yep. We don't have any pre-caching, so every single time we make our API call, or we're then making a call to Gemini, which will slowly eat up all of our credits and cost more and more money every single time we do it, which isn't ideal, especially when we're just combining the same two things over and over and over again. So we need to consider that. We do use Gen AI for building unknown combinations, and then we can kind of look at steps here. We've used the fast API to make a really quick API. We've set up the Google Gemini route here and used structured outputs to make our lives easier, which we did. We have yet to test what Google or DigitalOcean's gradient AI agents have to say. API endpoint, we need to do that. Some sort of database structure for calling pre-cache results. We don't have that yet. Alrighty. So, first things first, we want to be able to cache things. Normally, we'd make a database or a nice little database for this, but I'm just going to very quickly do that because, at least for the time being, we want to be able to test out our system quickly, and then we can hook this up to a database once we actually deploy it. So, for now, we're going to just do this, and I'm going to have some fun here. Key equals first plus second. If key in cache, cache key hit for that, boom, return that. Or we're going to say result equals cache key. I'm not going to return it just quite yet. Else, we're gonna have all this funness here. Yep. Logger.info, generating results for that. Okay. So this will generate the result. The result will return in the form of that JSON. We're then going to cache that result, so that way we can pull it up for next time. And then we return the result and everything. So let's take a look here. Boom. Combining Java plus Rust, generating result for Java plus Rust. Result equals that. Now if we call it a second time, combining Java plus Rust, cache hit for that, and good to go. In fact, we're going to shut down and restart the application. I want to show you real quick just how much faster this is. Can I, like, zoom in? I can zoom in that. Okay, cool. So the first result that we're going to hit is going to, yes, I know that we didn't hit that tools. That's fine. We're going to take 992 milliseconds because it needed to go do our generated result. But then the second one we're going to hit, boom, it was 2 milliseconds because it didn't have to go make an API call over to Gemini and get things done and do that. So it's a lot faster in that regard, and it makes it a little bit easier to scale and not end up spending thousands of dollars in tokens. Yeah. So, quick way of doing that. It gave me 2 emojis. And, you know, well, fine. What does Java plus JVM equal? Bytecode. I feel like we gotta, like, toy with this prompt to get it to, like, give you logical things, because it feels like Like, I would assume, I don't know. Python plus bytecode equals what? Virtual machine? All right. We're just making up things at this point, which is kind of fair. That is in fact the job of generative AI, to make up things. But now I'm just kind of curious if we like do like fire plus water, honestly. What does that give you? Steam. Okay, well, at least knows things. Steam plus water is a cloud computing. I guess we did specify the game is technology and programming elements related to that. The combination should be a logical combination. Maybe we need to just like play with the spiciness of this. For example, if two languages are given, combine them to provide a different language that is a combination of the two, or for language frameworks, combine them to provide a new framework. Sure. Let's see if that'll fix our Java plus. It's like I'm picturing like Java plus Python is like JavaScript. No, it's a Jython. That makes, yeah, that would check out, isn't it? Is Jython really a thing? Oh my god, it is. Oh, that. Oh, this hurts me. I don't like this. Why, oh why, is Jython truly a thing? Alright, so that's kind of using Gemini for this, but we can do you one better. And say, so we're gonna do this. If engine equals Gemini, we're gonna plop that into there. Else we're going to return a failure result not exported. I'm just gonna do this. Success equals true. We're gonna say false. New item equals false if cache is there. Else new item equals true. Just gonna add a little bit of logic to this, throw some flags around. I'm gonna have to throw some try caches on these things, but that's fine. If success and new item. Actually, let's do it this way. If new item. Coding live is kind of fun and spooky. Else. Is that how that works? 501's not exactly what we want. We'll do it this way. Return an error response if the engine is not responded. 400. Okay. In fact, I'm just gonna do that here. I don't know why I'm being so finicky with my code. I don't even need the success term. It's just if new item cache. All right. Whoa. Okay. Alrighty. So we return a 400 if unsported engine. And now we would like else if engine equals DigitalOcean. Okay, so cool. Pass. All right. So now we have a good structure here for integrating with DigitalOcean. So why don't we go ahead and do that? I'm also going to clean up some of this here. These can go together. I'm also going to take this prompt here and chuck it in specifically the Gemini portion. It doesn't need to be everywhere. Just... Okay. Cool. It's mad at me for something. I did something bad. Oh, expected another block after. That's fine. Well, what line's it mad at me at? 72. What? Oh, that's because I saved in between things, and then it broke. If you're just now joining us, I know that we're at like the top of the hour here. We're rebuilding Infinite Craft, which is a fun little game where you combine things and you're able to create stuff. We're still on the hunt to figure out how to create a hackathon. I seem to be making nothing but food, which is good. Statue. Floor. Sculpture. Bread sketch. Clay. Golem. Golem earth. Mountain. I feel like we need like technology. Oh, you know what we need? We need lightning. How do you get lightning? That's steam, cloud, fire, lightning, lightning brick. We'll get there eventually. We're recreating this game here, but giving it like a little technology twist, so that way you can provide it like languages and that sort of stuff, and like different like programming terms. It's able to combine all those things and build out something. Lightning plus something creates... Look, is this like... Thunder? Lightning golem? Does that give us a robot? Frankenstein. Okay. We'll get there eventually. That's the side goal here. Our main goal is to build out the system, but our side goal is to obviously find hackathons here. So now I'm going to show you an alternative way of doing this using DigitalOcean's gradient AI. So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to go to mlh.link/DigitalOcean. Also, if you're now recently just joining us, let me go grab the, whatchamacallit? Where is it? I'm gonna open up my Discord real quick and go pull up. Ah, there we go. I'm gonna go paste that in chat. If you'd like to check in for check-in points and everything. Very disorganized. I have too many monitors. There's monitor here, monitor there, monitor there. So if I'm looking off to the side, that's where I am looking. If you'd like to check in for the events, there's the check-in for this. But we're gonna be building with DigitalOcean here, and MLH has a wonderful little discount here, where you get $200 in free credits, which is perfect for what we need, because we're gonna be hosting this thing and building with it. So we're going to open this up here. We can see we can sign up there. So I'm going to click this sign up link. $200 credit. Get it. Here's when you'd sign up with a new email. I already have an account, so I'm going to sign in. Let me go pull up my DigitalOcean username. Username and password. Definitely not a made-up email. Definitely not a made-up password. Now I gotta go to my email. 1 second. I thought I signed. Well, I guess this is a guest account, so I am not signed into this. But if I was, then this is how you would get to it. There's my code. I'm a real person. I promise. Yay! So you can see I have $200 in credit here. I did need to add my credit card to this, which is unfortunate. But in theory, if you are good about not leaving things running, you're not going to get charged for it. There are some limitations on like what you can use for it. Reasonably so, Gemini or DigitalOcean doesn't want you just like spinning up a bunch of GPU droplets using your free credit and then just keep doing those. But there are different things that you can do that don't involve that. One of which, if we go on back here with the build, that is the DigitalOcean Gradient AI Agentic Cloud. It lets you really quickly build out agents, such as an agent for combining two different things, without really needing to do a lot in terms of infrastructure, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So why don't we go here, check out this getting started. All right, create a knowledge base. We're not going to create a knowledge base here. This is what you would do if you wanted to like link it to a bunch of data that you have, or like a bucket or Dropbox or something like that. It's really useful if you have just like a bunch of documentation you'd like to have your AI agent have access to. And yeah, it's useful for that. Okay, so we want to create an agent. Agents are a core resource of the Gradient AI platform. You can integrate their interfaces in your applications or websites. Basically, you are creating an API to do the thing you want it to do. So instead of us calling Gemini with our API key and everything like that, we're instead going to create an agent on DigitalOcean that is expressly made for the purpose of what we want it to do. So we don't need to do this big, huge combined prompt of you are crafting all this every single time we want to make a request. Instead, we have an agent whose job it is to do that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to get started over here, over in the agent platform. Honestly, there's like 12 different buttons that'll do it. Get started here, learn more. Yeah, they really want to. They're really pushing for this, which, to be fair, is a really useful platform for building out things. And so, deliver contextual and helpful resources with low code and embeddable agent. Create your own. All right, we're gonna give it a name. Anybody in chat want this agent to be named after you? All right. Well, actually, I'm gonna name it after one of Sage Druid's ducks. We're gonna go with Dusty, just because I like Dusty. All right, and we're gonna give instructions, and so I'm going to go here and copy this. Boop-a-da-boo. Copy that. These are our instructions for our agent. I'm gonna delete some of these weird bits here. Alrighty. one of the things that I believe we can't do is structure the output in a specific way. At least not without just like writing in the agent model here. Ooh, I haven't tried that yet. Let's try that. Provide the response as a JSON object with no. How do I want to do this? JSON object with no additional text, just the object. It should be in the format of. Now how do we? Let's match it to what we have here. Item. Item. String. Emoji. String. And let's see what this does. I'm kind of curious what this is. I didn't want to open it in the same. Oh my gosh. Okay, well. Whoopsies. A long time ago, there was a really cool extension, and by long time ago, I mean like at least like 10 or 15 years at this point, called like Lazarus, which would revive from the dead forms. But like I definitely see how that's a security issue, so I understand why it's no longer around. Provide your response in the form of a JSON with no text before or after it. The JSON should have the following format. Item, string, emoji, string. Cool. For now we're gonna use the MetaLlama models and use this one just because they're kind of low power. They don't really take a lot of tokens to run. MLH Workshop Workspace. We don't have any knowledge bases to add to it, but if we did, we could add that there. I'm not going to connect it to a VPC network because we're just going to do something with tokens and everything. Or not tokens, well, it is a bearer token, but an API key for this. And now we... I realize this music has been looping for a while, so I'm going to change music to something else. All right, now we're going to test this. Okay. First is going to be Java. Second is Python. Update settings. Oh, it's still deploying. That's why. I'm sitting here like, why isn't it running? It's because it's not deployed yet. That'll do it. Let's see. What does it come up with? It also gives you Python. Again, that's a cursed language, but sure. We'll go with that. Oh, interesting. Did it spin up? No, it didn't spin up. Okay. Alright. I'm just gonna turn the music off for now. I wanted to find something good, like comfy stream music, but like every royalty-free quote-unquote stream music video I've found on YouTube had a bunch of comments in the thing that was just like, yeah, it sort of worked, and then I got DMCA'd, which I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound very fun. Okay, cool. So let's look into how to play with this. So we have an endpoint here. The endpoint appears to be just like a big random string URL, which is good. So this will be what we connect to our backend. We're then going to need to manage some access keys here. So I'm going to need to create a key, stream key. Yeah, just shows you the key right then and there. That's annoying. Let's not do that. Let me drag this down to a different monitor. No, you cannot have my stream key. I am sorry. Okay, I created a key. Now I need to drag you down to another separate monitor and add and edit my env file. So 1 second. Ignore everything that's going on. Here, Steam plus house. What does that give you? Haunted house. All right, I'm gonna paste 2 things here. I'm gonna have my DigitalOcean API key, which will be the API key specifically for the agent. And then I'm also gonna get this do agent URL equals that. Cool. Now I'm gonna close that file. Yada yada yada. I didn't link any keys today. I'm not gonna have to go pull this stream, burn everything down to the ground, start again, rebuild a new life in a new town where no one knows my name. I am going to reset that though. Yippee. Haunted house plus thunder. Ghost. Good to know. All right. So, manage endpoint. I'm not going to make it public because that means then somebody in stream is going to spam it, and that's not going to be fun. Unless you all agree to behave, then I'll make it public. But for now, I'm not making it public. Let's see. We have token usage, input tokens. What? Cool. We've barely scratched $1. Or not even enough. We've barely used any bits of it. We need 1 million before we start costing 20 cents per. I'm actually curious about that like model comparison system. So I'm gonna see model playground just because I haven't tested that before. Let's go back to that. So that might be a good way of like comparing which model is the most, or is the least spiciest, or maybe the most spiciest. Maybe that's what we want. Cool. Oh, they just have like a bunch of different things here. Compare against, ooh. Sync inputs. Oh, this is, oh. So you can see which model you like more. That's kind of neat. Okay, wait, now I want to test this. Where's my prompt? Where's that prompt we made? Well, let's grab the one from the agent platform, actually. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I know I'm getting like super sidetracked, but I'm just kind of curious at this point. Yeah. Can I? How do I get to? Is it settings? Oh, yeah, there's the instructions. Hit it. All right. Whichever one of these doesn't give me Jython is the one that I'm going to use. We'll do that one, and then sure, why not? Let's try that. Sync inputs. Of course, it gives me Jython. Everything gives me Jython. The Zeepseek, and eh. Sure, I agree. Didn't like me. Android script, okay, that's even worse, and that's definitely... that hurts. Okay. Yep. We're learning new languages today, I guess. Yeah, I'm not gonna think about that. But yeah, the kind of really nice thing about specifically the agent platform here is I didn't need to deploy this anywhere. I didn't need to like host this anywhere. It's kind of exists as a serverless quote unquote endpoint where I can then ping this whenever I need it, and then it'll run up, do the thing, and then come back. I didn't need to like instantiate a droplet or anything like that. It's just using the bare minimum in terms of credits, which is then gives us enough of our free tier that we can use for hosting this thing later on once we get to that point. I'm also shocked that it is 7 o'clock and they are still out there. If you're tuning in earlier or later, I have construction right outside my window. I think that like a power system, I don't know, I still have power, so it's not my side of the street. Anyway, weird. So, okay, we have our URL here. Let's actually go ping it. I'm gonna very quickly, outside of this, I'm just gonna go new file, test do.py. Okay, import. What do we want for this? Env. If name is main, I just want to very quickly. EO agent URL. So let's look at the documentation here, because I'm now just curious. What does it look like to actually call this agent? Because I'm assuming I need to. Sorry, I think I have something stuck in my throat. I'm gonna be right back real quick so I can go blow my nose. Well, ugh. There's something caught in my throat and I need to go gargle or something. So I'm gonna be right back. Bear with me. everyone. Sorry about that. I like had something caught in my throat and I needed to go cough it out. Yeah, it's not fun. All right. Sorry about that. Now we're going to go look through the documentation here to see how to use your agents in your applications. That's exactly what I wanted to find. Endpoints are URLs automatically generated when you create agents. You can integrate them into your app, send requests, and receive JSON response form. Similar chatbot interface, you can send the agent a string of text that the agent processes as response. Using an endpoint also allows you to configure additional request parameters such as maximum tokens to generate and retrieval information settings. Cool. So, using an automation, viewing the agent endpoint requires a unique identifier to the agent. To obtain a list of agents in their unique identifiers, use the v2 agents. So yeah, we have that. So that changes the visibility. We don't really care about that. Creating an access key, already made that. Agent endpoints. Once you have an agent, you can use the agent's endpoints to generate responses to your user queries. The following core request in Python Open AI example shows how to use the agent endpoint to generate responses for your queries. So you have that. Agent endpoint API v1 chat completions. You can send a request to the API by appending that to the end of URLs and sending a JSON request body like the following. Role. Okay. User asks that. Cool. All right, well, let's play with it. We are also gonna need this way. And we're just going to do a little test here of this DO agent URL plus this endpoint here. Headers, authorization, bearer. There's my key. And now it wants a JSON passed to it. So, is it a post? It is a post request. Interesting. Okay. I guess that makes sense, yeah. And it was like user. Oh, I see. So wait, you're gonna do that. All right. It's gotta be like structured sort of like this. Messages. It's gonna be role user. Role user message or content. Yeah, we'll do that. And let's see what that all does. Ugh. Okay. Let's go test this thing real quick. Python test do.py. Oh. Let's do that. Okay. 422 error. Let's see. My application JSON, data. I know it's JSON. That's what I need. Let's try that. Okay. This is the model, message, role, assistant, content. And then it gives me some JavaScript there that I can look through. All right. So I can even do that .json. And actually pull up the JSON. And let's response.json. What is it that we need here? Data choices. Choices 0 message content. Yep, there it is. Okay. And let's print result. Let's see if that does exactly what we want it to do. Yippee! Py.js. That's crazy. Actually, no, that's just Jython, but please tell me that's not a separate library. We're gonna learn all like the weird libraries today. I'll have you know, in my break, I did take a moment to look outside my window to see what the hell was going on, and there are now just like more and more vehicles parked outside my street. I think I'm hearing a chainsaw right now. It is 7:30. I do not understand. I'm guessing like there's a power outage or something and they're like digging up a line. Again, apologies. That's crazy. All right. Did we also... Actually, wait. Can I see activity? mlh.shrubbery288. That's my email. That's me. That's my email. Don't email it, or else I'll be sad. Yeah, I am flabbergasted at this point. I don't know what's up with outside, but I hope that doesn't go until the night. I'd like to sleep at some point. Okay, sorry, I'm getting super sidetracked at this point. Okay. We were looking at Py.js. That is another sidetrack. Py.js. Oh my gosh, it's a thing. Oh wow. I'm sorry. Okay, cool. So that worked. I'm kind of curious if this is going to go off the rails if you give it something else. But for now, we will just play with it. So I'm going to actually do a little bit of refactoring here because we have dug ourselves quite into a bit of a hole, and this is kind of a just disgusting mess at this point. Def combine, or Gemini combine. First string, second string. Okay. Let's see if that... Let's see if that does things nicely. Is that basically our job? Yeah, that's that. Okay, cool. Result equals Gemini combine for a second. Cool. Love that. Alright. Now I'm gonna do DigitalOcean combine. We're gonna pull out some of these things here. Import requests. And wonder if this is all gonna break because I need to like set these up as asyncs. Well, we're about to find out. So, actually, yeah, it's totally gonna break because request is not. Okay. Well, we'll see in a moment. Whoopsies. Oh, this is gonna be like a weird F string, isn't it? We're gonna do it this way. Request equals first, second. I'm gonna import JSON. Okay. Okay. All right. That seems fine to me. Cool. All right. Let's see if we can now do that and go from there. Doesn't run. Wow, that is. I love the chainsaw or whatever is going on outside. Oh boy, life is but a dream. All right, so now let's go here and quickly just make a request. I should just be making call requests in my terminal. I don't know why I'm doing it over here, but we are, because that's what I felt like, or that's what I started doing, and now we're kind of committed to it. And engine equals DigitalOcean. Generating result. Oh, I should logger.info using Gemini engine using DigitalOcean. Okay, let's try that again. Yippee! So I was able to make the request, and it didn't break, which is weird because I think it should, because that's like a requests is requests. I don't know. I feel like it should have broken, but I'm not gonna think about it too hard. Yippee! And we cleaned up the code base to be a little bit prettier. Okay. So, int float result decimal. So we now have two different ways of talking to our system. Sorry, my brain has just kind of stopped because I just hear chainsaw. Oh boy. We now have a way to talk to it using DigitalOcean's gradient agents. You can actually even see in our observability here, our runtime logs. No, I'm not going to pay for log insights, but I would like to see. Yay! And you can see we've used like not a lot of tokens thus far, especially once we start caching things and start playing with stuff like that. We'll be fine-tuning it and figuring out what to go from there. But let me go back here we're gonna want to do. We are currently pre-caching stuff, but I'd like to make a database for that, and we're gonna host that also on DigitalOcean because we may as well use the most of that $200 of free credit. We have 2 different approaches. You can specify which engine you'd like. We still need some sort of database structure for that, so we're gonna figure that out tomorrow probably. I don't think we have enough time for that the other day. Then also, I think tomorrow is going to be first half of us building a database structure and kind of playing around fine-tuning with the stuff. Also, maybe going back to trying to figure out where the hackathon or how to get a hackathon out of Infinite Craft, the original. Then we're going to build then we're going to start our little snappy UI for that. And then probably on day 3 is when we're going to finish off the UI for that, make it pretty. So the first step is to make it work. The second step is going to be to make it pretty. And then finally host it all. So that way y'all can play with it and everything. Yeah. I'm going to quickly go ahead and set up a repo for this. So that way, if y'all want to take a look at it in the downtime of the stream, you can do so. So I'm going to initialize a repo. I'm going to add to get ignore. No, you don't get my API keys. How dare you? I'm also going to add that to get ignore. Yeah. Looks good to me. I suppose we can make a little bit more the idea. Stream idea. Create a clone of Infinite Craft. Let me get a URL for that. I'm gonna cite my sources because I'm a good programmer person. The chainsaw just got louder. I love that so much for me right now. Infinite Craft. Using Gemini and DigitalOcean's great no space ocean gradient AI that focuses on combining programming and technology terms to make other programming terms. Alrighty. Is this gonna work properly? Still won't. I'm pretty sure once we publish this markdown file, it will. Technology. Alrighty. Cool. Initial commit. We're gonna commit that. I'm now gonna publish this to Infinite Craft PA Horton. That works for me. Make a new repo. Yippee. Hooray. GitHub.com/PA Horton/Infinite Craft. I can't spell. Yay! I'm also, I should rename plan to readme. I'll do that, yeah. Rename readme. Now I'm spacing. Is readme lowercase? Oh my gosh. You ever like do something a billion times in your life and now you're just like second guessing everything? Is readme lowercase? RMQ tools. If all caps. Okay. Cool. Yep. I'm gonna stage these commits here. Stage change plan to readme. Sync that over here. Hey, would you look at that? My checkboxes do work, and I'm not crazy. All I'm saying. All right, awesome. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a wrap here for today, mainly because whatever else is going outside is still going on outside. I feel like tomorrow we're gonna kind of play with it, fine tune it, mess with like stuff like the temperature, figure out ways to make it kind of behave as we'd like. I'd like it to be like, you know, you start off with like these base elements, and then you can like get a language, and then you start like figuring out languages, and then you get frameworks, and then maybe like, you know, go from there. I think that'd be kind of fun. Yeah. Anyway, I've been Paul with MLH. If you want to tune out to the next thing on Global Hack Week, first off, if you haven't checked in for this, please check in. You get lots of cool points for that. You get to, which then makes you eligible for swag and that sort of stuff. So please check in. The next event is going to be hosted by me again in about an hour. It'll be over on the Discord, and we're going to be playing Gartic Phone. I like doodling and am very bad at it, but enjoy doing it. So if you also are bad at doodling, then please join me. If you're good at doodling, you can still join me. Just don't show me up. That's fine, you can show me up. But yeah, anybody have any lingering questions while the daylight burns and the chainsaw outside my window continues to chainsaw? I messed that up. It's the other way around, isn't it? It's gonna annoy me. Let me fix that. I always forget the order on, yeah, it's this, isn't it? Oh, it even fix URL. There. Okay, cool. Alrighty, well, I'll see y'all later. Thanks, Whackers. Always good having you. Alrighty. Bye, y'all.